I'd like to create a sacred space for this interaction. Only connect with beings of the highest frequency, love, and light. So am I connected to my spirit guides at this time? Yes. Okay, wonderful. So spirit guides, I thought we could talk about a subject we talked about many months ago, but I think it's worth revisiting, just based on some of the understandings, comments I've seen from people in the collective. And I think it might be based largely on religious dogma. But I wanted to talk about the existence of demons because I know that a lot of people who are, I guess you would call devout Christians, often talk about spiritualism as a form of interacting with demons. So I guess I wanted to find out your interpretation again. First of all, I guess the first question would be, do demons exist? Okay, demons do not exist. Okay, and I guess this, obviously I was going to ask you, are you demons? Are you demons? And the answer is no, you are not demons. Okay, how would you describe yourselves? How would you define yourselves? We are aspects of source consciousness who are no longer in physical form. Okay. So we all are, or at some point, and I guess simultaneously, in that state. Would that be accurate? Yes. Okay. And why would that be, spirit guides? Why are we simultaneously in the state of non-physical form? Because you are source experiencing itself through physical form. Okay, so we are source energy beings, aspects of source, experiencing what it's like to have a human existence in these bodies. Okay. Are we eternal? Yes, I guess that goes without saying if we are source. So when we leave these physical bodies, does our consciousness go on? Yes, okay. And do we, or are we experiencing multiple lifetimes, and not necessarily sequentially, but are we experiencing other lifetimes simultaneously? Yes, okay. Linear time is an illusion for soul growth. Okay, so linear time is an illusion, even though it feels like it's all that there is. Why do we experience things in such a linear fashion? Why are we not able to understand when we come in and as we grow into adulthood that this experience is the real essence of who we are, is not in linear time? Because it would be too overwhelming for you in the physical form to experience multiple lifetimes at once. Okay, that would make sense. Okay. All right. And I had a list of questions. I've gone off the rails here with the subjects. So I guess maybe I'll kind of circle back a little bit to some of the original questions that I had written down. So because demons do not exist, you are not demons, I am not a demon, is everything that we experience source? So is there anything other than source? So source is all that is. And how would you define source? If there was a word, or maybe a few words that you would give to define source, what would those be? Source is all that is, and source is love. Source is love. Okay. So source is love. So why do we experience all of these traumas and sufferings and challenges and obstacles in the illusion if Source is love. Because you do not know who you truly are, and that is why you incarnated, to remember who you are as Source. Okay, so that is kind of like our mission or journey. That is the soul's journey, to come from a place of not knowing, of, I guess you would call, the veil of forgetfulness, so we can have an objective experience in the present moment. I guess that would be one of the goals, or the main goal of the incarnation, to remember who we are as Source, okay? And to experience that which you have not yet experienced. So it's twofold. It's to remember who we are and to have unique experiences in these perspectives as Source consciousness in my body. I have a unique perspective. And that, what does that do for Source? It expands the awareness of Source. Okay, so it's almost like Source is just experiencing every possibility through these aspects of Source, which are us, various, not dramas, but stories, situations, emotions, strong emotions, obstacles, challenges. All of those things are a way for Source to better understand itself. Yes, that is correct. Okay. And so for that reason, do we need to be afraid of demons or evil or any of those things that maybe we've learned through our conditioned belief systems to be true? If we are coming back to our true understanding of who we are divine, we are eternal, there is nothing to be afraid of. We are powerful creator beings manifesting experiences as Source, and there's nothing to fear. So fear is in essence kind of an illusion. That is correct. You are correct. Okay. I love that. Okay. Is there anything else? Well, I guess maybe one quick follow-up question, Spirit Guides. I guess I'm just curious why some of the spiritual texts, religious texts, would discount any kind of channeling. I guess they call it spiritualism or mediumship in some of the religious texts. Why would they discount that or make it so to be feared, I guess I might say? Because if you understand who you truly are, they have no power over you. Yes. Okay. So maybe in other times, which are happening simultaneously, as we've talked about, maybe there were those who wished to control maybe the thoughts and actions of the populace. And that's one way to do it, is through maybe fear of connecting yourself to your divine energy. Would that be accurate? Yes, very much so. Okay. I just wanted to talk about that because I think we talked about it once a long time ago. And I think a lot of people, grew up believing that, and it might take some introspection and maybe meditation, getting back to who you truly are, and maybe letting go of some of those conditioned belief systems to open yourself up to that awareness. Yes. Okay. We want you to know that channels are not to be feared. Okay, so I guess my own spiritual awakening was pretty intense, and it opened me up to these connections, but I had to go through a process. It was a journey. It didn't happen overnight. It was a series of questioning my own belief systems over and over, amongst some other things that happened, some traumas in my life that brought me to this point. And it doesn't mean I'm special, because I'm certainly not. I'm just an aspect of Source just like everybody else. And can everyone else get to this point if they choose to? Your beliefs create your reality. So yes, if you open yourself up to the possibility that this is something that can happen for you and to you, you will open yourself up to this connection. That is correct. Okay. All right, Spirit Guides. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add on these topics at all? No, we have covered a lot. Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Okay. Thank you, Spirit Guides. Sending you much love and gratitude, and we will talk to you soon.